Well, the new Call of Duty's been causing quite a ruckus in the video game world recently. It all started out a couple days ago whenever they announced that the survival mode, or whatever the hell it is going to be a PlayStation exclusive for a year. Now, if you're not familiar with the Call of Duty franchise, the reason that's a problem, well, one, they're locking part of the game for a year. And two, a new Call of Duty comes out every year. So by the time by the time PC and Xbox players get access to that content, the next Call of Duty is going to be out. So who the hell's going to care? Now, I don't understand why people still buy Call of Duty. Every single year you're blowing at least $60. But anyway, that's not the point. I can do a little rant about that later. So now there's some leaks coming out saying that the new game is going to have microtransactions just like all the old games. And it's not just going to be titles and weapon skins and stuff like that. It's going to be actual weapons, which I'm pretty sure a bunch of Call of Duties in the past have had. I think the World War II had it, Infinite Warfare, all that, where you can only get guns, or certain guns, through loot boxes. It's not skins, which really doesn't seem like it would be that big of a deal if it was just skins, but if there are certain weapons, especially better weapons, that you can only get through paying, then that effectively makes it a pay-to-win. And people don't like pay-to-win. If you recall with the Star Wars Battlefront 2 debacle, where you either had to grind for days and days and days to get some of the higher level characters unlocked, or you could just buy them from day one. Yeah, that pissed a lot of people off. And eventually they did away with that, but then they ended up bringing the loot boxes back. So that was just another money grab, another scheme just to get people to open up their wallets. And I remember when that whole thing was going on with Battlefront 2, I had some words with a very fat YouTuber, a fat sack of shit that looks like basically a pile of pizza dough with eyes and a mouth. And I'm saying that because this disgusting piece of shit had gastric bypass surgery, and he didn't lose a pound, or at least he doesn't look like he lost any weight, and that was a couple years ago. So that'll tie in with the story in a moment here, because he was talking about what happens if a 12-year-old gets on there and just starts buying all these microtransactions, buying all this different stuff that you can spend money on, real money on, in game. And my response was, what is a 12-year-old doing with their parents' credit card information? How irresponsible do you have to be as a parent to let a 12-year-old have access to your credit card information? Well, I don't think he liked that very much. And it makes perfect sense, because obviously someone like that, someone who is that fat, this dude, I'm saying like at least 350 pounds, probably more, had gastric bypass surgery, didn't appear to lose any weight. He looks just as fat as he's ever been. Obviously, this guy can't even hold himself responsible enough to put down the fork. So I guess he just can't seem to comprehend how I could possibly say something like that. Like, what do you mean? I thought every 12-year-old had access to their parents' credit card information. Now, he didn't say that, but I'm just exaggerating at that point. But it makes sense, a fat, disgusting person who can't hold themselves accountable, can't even be responsible enough to eat healthy and exercise. Yeah, I totally get why he would say something like that. Because, it's people like that, the irresponsible ones who can't even control themselves. First of all, people like that shouldn't have kids. If you're that big, oh God, how do you even have sex? But anyway, it's parents like that who would be the ones, they just let their kids buy whatever they want, and then all of a sudden they get a credit card bill. This kid ran up $3,000 worth of microtransactions on a game, and then the parents get pissed off. Instead of blaming themselves for being irresponsible pieces of shit, they blame the game. Why are all these these charges here, well, this shouldn't be in the game. You shouldn't let kids be able to buy stuff like this. No, stupid. You shouldn't let your kids have your credit card information. Hey, what up, homie? That's a big problem in society right now. Parents don't want to take the blame for being lazy pieces of shit. They want to blame it all on somebody else. You know, because people just don't want to take responsibility for their own actions. They don't want to hold themselves accountable when something goes wrong. They just want to blame everybody else. And personally, I don't care about microtransactions. I don't care about loot boxes. I don't care about any of that stuff because I don't spend money on it. Years ago, whenever I first got out of the Army and I was going to college, I was playing this Facebook Flash game. It's just I can't even remember what the heck the name of it is, but it's just this generic RPG type game. It had a ton of microtransactions. Now, you could play the whole game for free. You could play the whole game for free and just grind nonstop. Or you could pay real money and rank your character up really fast. Now, we had a guy in my guild. He paid whatever it cost to completely max out his character. And after doing the math, we figured out it was roughly $1,400. Yeah, this dude spent $1,400 on a free-to-play game. And that's where I put the blame at. You see, these AAA publishers, they're seeing that people are willing to spend thousands of dollars on a free-to-play game that has microtransactions. So they're thinking, all right, well, we'll release an incomplete game for $60, and then we'll just throw in a ton of microtransactions, and people will pay for it. People will just get out their wallets, pull out their credit cards, and pay for it. And they do. And the people who do that, you're the problem, or you're part of the problem at least. No one's forcing you to do that. No one's even forcing you to buy the game. So to anybody out there complaining about Call of Duty, just don't buy it. If you buy it, you're part of the problem. And if you buy it and there's microtransactions and whatever the hell they call them, whatever the loot crates are that have the weapons in them, which from what I've been reading, I can almost guarantee that the new Call of Duty will have special weapons that you can only get in supply drops. I believe that's what they call it. People are going to buy them anyway. That's all part of the problem. You need to start voting with your wallets. You don't have to play a new game every time a new game comes out. You don't have to buy it. Who told you you have to buy it? Nobody. You make that choice. And what's really funny about Call of Duty players is they say the same thing every year. Like, oh man, if this COD sucks, I'm not buying it. If there's microtransactions, I'm not going to buy it. Well, if the last 5 games sucked and they had microtransactions, what do you think this one's going to have? If you keep buying it, they're just going to keep doing it. So stop complaining. Stop playing the victim. That's exactly what people are doing. Acting like they're somehow the victim. Like, just don't buy the game. How stupid can you possibly be? And again, it all comes back to people taking responsibility for their actions and holding themselves accountable when they do something stupid. Just stop. Is somebody holding a gun to your head and say, you better buy COD? And when those supply drops start, I don't care if they're $50, $60, $70, $80, $90, $100 a pop, you're going to buy them. No one's doing that. No one's forcing you to do anything. You make those choices on your own. I think that's a recurring theme in my channel. I have a really big problem with people who make bad decisions in life and who make bad choices in life and then attempt to blame it on someone else. I don't get that. I don't get one bit. And there's another group of people I have no respect for. But it's still going to happen. Nothing's going to change. This Call of Duty comes out, it's going to have microtransactions. There's no doubt about that. I guarantee you. And people are going to buy it anyway. People are going to pre-order it, which pre-ordering a game is about as dumb as you can, or one of the dumbest things you can possibly do. And I know this because I've done it before. I actually pre-ordered a Call of Duty. I pre-ordered the Modern Warfare 2 Hardened Edition, which was the game with this little metal case. Well, it came extra with this little metal case that had artwork and some other stuff in it. It was $20 extra, so $80 total, $60 for the game, and then add another $20 for the Hardened Edition. It was a complete ripoff. And that's whenever I learned pre-ordering is not a good idea. Let the game come out, wait for reviews, and if it's an EA or Activision game, you might want to wait a month or two until the microtransactions pop up, because they will. When those companies see that these independent developers, usually Chinese-made Flash games on Facebook, when one person is spending $1,000 on some shitty little Facebook Flash game, and those publishers see that, they're like, oh, we could just milk the hell out of these people. And I can't remember exactly how they put it, but I think it's something like 20% of people who play the game spend 80% of the money when it comes to microtransactions, something like that. Yet another way to put out the 80-20 rule. And I'm not sure if that number is exactly accurate, but the concept is true. It's the whales who spend all the money. I mean, that Facebook Flash game I was playing, most people didn't spend money. But that gets made up for by the whales. The guy who spent $1,400 to get his character completely maxed out. And all the other people who spent $1,400 to get their character maxed out. Now, that's not everybody out there, but it's enough people for those companies to make money and keep up with those predatory microtransactions. And possibly even make them cost more. Like, oh, hey, you thought your character was maxed out? Yeah, we added 10 more levels, and it's going to cost you about another $1,400 to get those levels. People out there are still going to spend that money. Stop doing it, man. Stop doing it, and more importantly, stop complaining if you do pay for that shit. Because if you're buying it, if you buy that Call of Duty, and they say, oh, no, there's not going to be, all the microtransactions are going to be cosmetic only, and then a month or two from now, they come out with guns that you can only get through microtransactions, you have no one to blame but yourself. And you'll probably still play the victim. Because that's how people are. Nobody wants to take responsibility for their actions or hold themselves accountable. Everybody wants to play the victim. Oh well. I'm going to go enjoy my weekend. And I hope everybody else does the same after watching this video, of course. So don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit that little notification bell, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.
Oh yeah, hell yeah! I just took out their heli with the fucking hover tank. Maybe I do like the hover tank.
No, thank you. Oh, I got UCAV.